Have you ever had that one moment where everything you thought you knew about your life just crumbles? Like the ground beneath your feet turns to sand and you're sinking fast with no warning, no mercy? That's exactly what happened to me on a rainy Tuesday evening in October. I remember it like it was etched into my soul, the kind of memory that wakes you up at night, heart pounding, wondering if it was all just a nightmare. But it wasn't. It was real. And it changed everything. My name's Elena, and for 8 years I had what everyone called the perfect marriage. Or at least that's what I believed. My husband, Mark, was the guy who could light up a room with his smile, tall, with those warm brown eyes that crinkled at the corners when he laughed. We met in college, back when life felt like an endless summer, late-night study sessions turning into coffee dates, stolen kisses in the library stacks. He was studying finance, I was in graphic design, and somehow we just fit, like puzzle pieces that clicked without force. We built a life together in a cozy suburb outside Seattle, a little 2-story house with a white picket fence, yeah, the cliché, but it felt earned. I ran my own freelance design business from home, juggling client logos and mood boards while he climbed the corporate ladder at a tech firm downtown. Mornings were our ritual. I'd brew coffee strong enough to wake the dead, he'd kiss my forehead and mutter something sweet about how I was his lucky charm. Evenings, we'd cook dinner side by side, pasta on Tuesdays, stir-fry on Thursdays, talking about nothing and everything. Dreams of kids someday, a trip to Italy, maybe adopting a dog. It was simple. It was ours. But that Tuesday, I came home early from a client meeting that wrapped up ahead of schedule. The rain was pounding the windows like it had a grudge, and I was soaked, laughing to myself about how Mark always teased me for forgetting my umbrella. I kicked off my shoes in the foyer, called out his name. Nothing. His car was in the driveway, so I figured he was napping upstairs, maybe buried in a book. I padded into the kitchen, ready to surprise him with takeout from that Thai place we loved. That's when I saw it. His phone, buzzing on the counter like it was alive, screen lighting up with a message that wasn't meant for my eyes. I wasn't snooping, I swear. It was right there, face up, taunting me. The preview popped. "Can't wait for tonight, babe. Last time was magic." Heart. From a number saved as Gym Buddy Sarah, my stomach dropped. Gym Buddy? We didn't have a gym membership. Not anymore, anyway. That lapsed months ago when life got busy. I picked it up, hands shaking like leaves in the wind. My thumb hovered over the screen, that little voice in my head screaming to put it down, walk away, pretend. But curiosity, or maybe it was that first crack of doubt, won. I unlocked it with our shared passcode. Trust, right? And there it was. Messages. Dozens of them. Flirty at first, innocent enough to brush off if you squinted. Missed you at lunch today. Then bolder. Photos. Late-night calls logged at times when he said he was working overtime. My world tilted. Who was the Sarah? And how long had this been going on? I scrolled back, heart hammering so loud I could barely hear the rain anymore. 6 months. 6 months of lies wrapped in half-truths. "Love you, E," he'd text me from her apartment, probably. The betrayal hit like a wave, cold and relentless, pulling me under. I didn't cry then. Not yet. I just stood there, phone in hand, feeling the pieces of us shatter in slow motion. How do you rebuild from that? Or do you? That night, as I slipped the phone back and waited for him to come downstairs, I made a silent promise to myself. I wouldn't break. Not yet. I'd find out everything. And when I did, well, justice has a way of slipping in quietly, doesn't it? But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let me take you back to how we got here, before the slip, before the storm. Looking back, it's funny how the best stories start with the sun shining brightest. Ours did. Mark and I weren't one of those whirlwind romances that burn hot and fizzle fast. No, we simmered. Slow and steady, like a pot on low heat, building flavor over time. We graduated from college hand in hand, he with a job offer in the city, me freelancing until I could stand on my own. Our first apartment was a shoebox in Capitol Hill, peeling wallpaper, a kitchen you could barely swing a cat in, but it was home. We painted the walls sky blue, hung fairy lights, and danced to old jazz records on rainy nights. "This is just the start," he'd say, pulling me close. "We're unstoppable, you and me." And we were, for a while. I landed my first big client, a startup needing a full brand overhaul, and Mark surprised me with weekend tickets to the coast. We drove with the windows down, wind whipping our hair, stopping at every roadside diner for greasy fries and milkshakes. That's when he proposed, down on one knee in the sand at sunset, ring glinting like a promise. Elena, you're my anchor in every storm. Marry me. Tears? Check. Laughter? Absolutely. We said yes to forever that day, with the ocean roaring its approval. The wedding was small, intimate, our families, a few close friends, vows exchanged under a canopy of wildflowers. I wore lace that hugged my curves just right, and he couldn't stop staring, like I was the only person in the world. Our honeymoon in Mexico was pure magic. Lazy beach days, salsa dancing till dawn, whispers of future adventures. Back home, we dove into house hunting with the energy of kids in a candy store. That white picket fence place. It was love at first sight. We scrapped together the down payment, me selling old designs online, him pulling extra shifts that a company call it, and moved in with boxes of dreams stacked high. Life settled into a rhythm after that. I'd wake to the smell of his coffee, sketch ideas at my desk while he tied his tie in the mirror, humming off-key tunes. Evenings, we'd cook dinner, side by side, pasta on Tuesdays, stir-fry on Thursdays, talking about nothing and everything. Dreams of kids someday, a trip to Italy, maybe adopting a dog. It was simple. It was ours. But even in paradise, shadows creep in if you don't watch out. It started small, innocent slips that I chalked up to stress. He'd come home later, phone glued to his hand, claiming, "Team meetings land long." I'd nod, understanding his job was demanding, spreadsheets and deadlines piling up like storm clouds. One night, he forgot our anniversary dinner reservation. "Babe, I'm so sorry, client emergency," he said, eyes pleading. I forgave him, of course. Love does that, doesn't it? Smooths the edges, fills in the cracks. Friends noticed too, in passing comments over wine nights. "Mark seems distracted lately," my best friend Lisa said one evening, swirling her glass. "Everything okay?" I brushed it off. "Just work. He's fine." Deep down, though, a tiny seed of unease took root. Why did his gym bag smell like unfamiliar perfume? Why a sudden interest in solo runs after dark? I pushed it away, buried it under date nights and inside jokes. We were solid, weren't we? That's what I told myself as I fell asleep in his arms, his breath steady against my neck. Little did I know, those shadows were gathering strength, waiting for the right moment to eclipse the sun. And when they did, oh, it would be a darkness I never saw coming. But hold on, before the eclipse there were signs. Whispers I ignored. Let's talk about those, shall we? Because hindsight is a cruel teacher, showing you exactly where you went wrong. Ever notice how betrayal doesn't announce itself with trumpets? No, it whispers. Soft at first, like a breeze rustling leaves. Easy to dismiss as nothing. That's how it was for me. Those early signs that something was off, but I waved them away like smoke. If only I'd listened closer. Maybe I could have braced myself, but who does? When you're in love, you see what you want to see. It started about a year into the house. Mark's promotion came with perks, fancy lunches, networking events, but also longer hours. "It's temporary, E," he'd assure me, loosening his tie as he walked in the door at 9, 10 o'clock. I'd have dinner warming in the oven, a smile plastered on, asking about his day. "Exhausting," he'd say, pecking my cheek, "but worth it for us." Us, that word kept me anchored. Then came the phone. He started keeping it closer, face down on the table during meals, buzzing more than usual. Once I reached for it to check the weather, a habit from our shared life, and he snatched it quickly, laughing it off. "Work stuff, buddy. Nothing exciting." His laugh was too sharp, eyes not quite meeting my own. I let it slide. Trust, remember? That's the foundation we built on. Social media was another whisper. I'd scroll through Instagram, liking friends' posts, and there he'd be, tagged in a group photo from some team-building hike, smiling widely, arm around a woman I didn't recognize, blonde, fit, laughing like she knew his secrets. The caption, "Squad goals, #work hard, play hard." I commented a heart emoji, messaged him later, "Who's the blonde bombshell? New coworker?" His reply, "That's Sarah from marketing. Total pro. Miss you. Miss you." 2 words that should have raised alarms, but I read them as sweet. The perfume hit next. Faint at first, like a ghost of jasmine lingering on his collar when I'd hug him goodnight. New aftersave? I asked one evening, nose wrinkling playfully. He froze for a split second, barely noticeable, then chuckled. Yeah, trying something fresh. Like it? I did. Or I thought I did. It became a joke between us. Smelling fancy tonight, Mr. Big Shot? He'd wink, we'd move on.
Weekends shifted, too. Used to be our time, brunch at that corner cafe, farmers market hauls of fresh berries and artisan bread. But suddenly, errands popped up. Gotta grab supplies for the office, he'd say, kissing me goodbye. Hours later, he'd return with a vague bag of notebooks. No details. I filled the time with my work, sketching designs that mirrored my growing unease, swirling patterns that looked like unraveling threads. Lisa cornered me at our next girls' night. Alina, spill, you seem off. Over margaritas, I confessed to the little things, the phone, the scent, the distance. She leaned in, eyes wide. Honey, talk to him before it festers. I nodded, promised I would. That night, I waited up. Mark, everything okay? You've been so busy. He pulled me into a hug, voice muffled in my hair. I'm good, E, just stressed. Love you. Love you. Again, that balm. But the whispers grew louder. A forgotten birthday card from his mom tucked in his briefcase with a lipstick smudge. Office prank, he explained. A late-night call he took in the garage, voice low and urgent. I stood at the kitchen window, rain streaking the glass, heart twisting. Was I paranoid? Or was the wind carrying truths I wasn't ready for? By the time that rainy Tuesday rolled around, those whispers had become a howl. And when his phone slipped its secret, well, the storm broke wide open. But even then, I didn't know the half of it. The depth of the betrayal, it ran deeper than I could have imagined. Stick with me. It's about to get real. There's a point in every unraveling where doubt stops being a whisper and starts screaming. For me, it was like watching a crack in a dam widen, water pressure building until boom, you're swept away. After those early signs, I tried to hold on, to patch things up with conversations and date nights. But the shadows, they lengthened, turning every corner of our home into a question mark. I started paying attention, really paying attention. Not in a creepy way, no tailing him or hacking accounts, just noticing. Like how his gym buddy texts came through at odd hours, always deleted by morning. I'd catch glimpses if I was quick, heart sinking at words like soon and can't wait. Who was this Sarah? I Googled her name with his company. Nothing public, but a LinkedIn profile popped up. Sarah Klein, marketing coordinator. Smiling photo, all polished confidence, passionate about storytelling and connections. Connections, the word mocked me. One afternoon, I called his office pretending to be a client. Desperate times, right? Is Mark available? The receptionist chirped. He's out on a lunch meeting with Sarah. Back soon. Lunch meeting. My stomach churned. I hung up, paced the kitchen, mind racing through scenarios. Innocent? Or something more. That night, he came home with takeout, our favorite Thai, and a bouquet of daisies. For my hard-working wife, he said, eyes sparkling. Guilt or genuine? I smiled through dinner, but the food tasted like ash. Sleep evaded me after that. I'd lie awake, staring at the ceiling fan's lazy spin, replaying moments. Remember our 5th anniversary? He planned a surprise weekend in the mountains, a cabin, wine, and stargazing. Pure magic. Or was it? Now I wondered about the calls he took outside, the way he'd check his watch mid-conversation. Had Sarah been there in the shadows of our joy? I confided in Lisa again, voice cracking over coffee. What if it's nothing? Am I losing my mind? She squeezed my hand. Trust your gut, Alina, but gather proof. Don't accuse the blind. Proof. The word stuck. So I did what any heartbroken wife might. I checked our shared credit card statements. Subtle at first. Coffee charges at a cafe I'd never heard of. A hotel receipt matching no conference dates. Then bold. A jewelry store purchase. Earrings, delicate gold hoops, not my style. For her? Anger flickered, then hot and unfamiliar. Not the explosive kind, but a slow burn, warming my veins. How dare he? After everything, the vows, the dreams, the quiet nights where I'd trace his scars from childhood falls and whisper, "I'm here forever." I confronted him gently one evening over wine on the couch. "Mark, you seem distant. Is there someone else?" His face paled, then recovered with a laugh. "Oh, what? No way. It's just work stress. You're my everything." He kissed me, deep and reassuring. And for a moment, I believed him, or wanted to. But the shadows deepened. A text I accidentally saw, "Miss our talks. Dinner Friday?" From Sarah. He claimed it was a group thing, team happy hour. I nodded, but inside, resolve hardened. Friday came. He left in his best shirt, promising to be home by 10. Midnight passed. My texts were unread. Word returned to fury as I sat in the dark living room, phone clutched like a lifeline. When he stumbled in at 1 a.m., reeking of beer and that jasmine ghost, I was done pretending. "Where were you really?" My voice was steel. He sighed, rubbing his temples. "Out with the teamy, relax." Relax, as if my world wasn't fracturing. I let it go that night, but the dam was cracking wider. And on that rainy Tuesday when his phone betrayed him fully, the floodgates opened. But even then, I didn't know the half of it. The depth of the betrayal, it ran deeper than I could have imagined. Stick with me. It's about to get real. Truth has a way of ambushing you, doesn't it? One second you're standing on solid ground, the next it's gone, and you're free falling into a pit of shattered illusions. That Tuesday, as rain lashed the windows and his phone burned in my hand, I fell hard. But it wasn't just the messages. Oh no. Digging deeper revealed a betrayal so layered, it stole my breath. I scrolled past the flirty texts, 6 months of thinking of you and heart emojis, to the photos. Selfies from hotel lobbies, her head on his shoulder in a dimly lit bar, captions like, "My escape." Escape? From what? From me? My hands trembled as I pieced it together. Sarah wasn't just a coworker. She was his what if, the spark he chased when our fire dimmed. Calls logged during our date nights, overtime excuses masking stolen hours. And the worst? A voice note from her. "Mark, I love you. When are you leaving her?" Leaving her? Me. The word echoed, a knife twisting slowly. I played it again, his voice faint but clear. "Soon, babe. Just need the right moment." Soon? How long had been soon? I ransacked his email next, the shared laptop and the forgotten password, folders labeled work, full of love letters disguised as memos, plans for a future without me, apartment hunting in the city, weekends away, even a draft resignation letter citing personal reasons to start fresh with her. Tears came then, hot and silent, blurring the screen. 8 years. Vows. Laughter lines etched from shared jokes. All a lie? I thought of our last vacation, Hawaii, 2 months back. Him glued to his phone on the beach, me building sandcastles alone. Work email, he'd said. Now I knew. Sextangs from her, fueling fantasies while I sipped Mai Tais, oblivious. The house felt like a tomb. Photos on the mantle, our wedding, holidays, mocked me with frozen smiles. I wandered upstairs, pulled open his dresser drawer. Tucked in a sock, a keychain from a bed and breakfast we'd never visited. Her gift? My chest tightened, anger mingling with grief. How dare he? After everything, the vows, the dreams, the quiet nights where I'd trace his scars from childhood falls and whisper, "I'm here forever." I didn't confront him right away. No, I sat on the bed, rain drumming a funeral march, and let the shock settle. Questions swirled. Was our love ever real? Did he regret us from the start? Or was I just convenient? The pain was visceral, a hollow ache that made breathing hurt. Betrayal isn't just the act. It's the erasure of trust, the rewriting of your history into fiction. By the time he came downstairs, whistling like nothing was wrong, I'd composed myself, barely. "Hey, babe, rough day?" he asked, grabbing a beer. I smiled. "Yeah. You?" He shrugged, oblivious. Same old, same old. If only he knew his world was about to flip. That night, as he slept next to me, breathing even, hand inches from mine, I stared into the dark. The fall was over. Now came the climb. Or the fight. Justice whispered in my ear, soft but insistent. I wouldn't shatter quietly. I'd expose the lies, make him feel the weight. But how? That was the spark igniting my plan. Hang tight. The pain was just the forge, shaping something unbreakable. Grief after betrayal isn't linear. It's a riptide, pulling you under when you least expect it. For weeks after that Tuesday, I drowned in it. Not the loud, wailing kind you see in movies. No, mine was quiet devastation, the sort that hollows you out from the inside, leaving echoes where your heart used to beat. Every corner of our home screamed his lies, and I was
Trapped in the echo chamber. Mornings were the worst. I'd wake to his alarm, body stiff beside mine, and for a split second, forget. Then reality crashed in, his touch now poison, his scent a reminder of jasmine ghosts. I'd slip out of bed, tiptoe to the bathroom, splash water on my face to wash away the tears that came unbidden. Breakfast? I'd push eggs around my plate while he scrolled news, oblivious or willfully blind. "You okay, E? You look tired." Tired. If only it were that simple. Work became my lifeline, but even there, cracks showed. Clients noticed my designs turning darker, edgier lines and shadowed palettes. "Elena, this is powerful," one emailed. "What's inspiring it?" Inspiration? Try rage wrapped in sorrow. I'd lose hours staring at my screen, replaying voice notes in my head. "When are you leaving her?" Leaving, as if I were baggage to discard. Nights were endless. He'd reach for me in sleep, murmuring my name, and I'd freeze, bile rising. Intimacy? Gone. I'd feign headaches, roll away, the space between us a chasm widening by the day. Friends asked, Lisa mostly, "Come out, girl, you need air." I'd go, sip wine at crowded bars, but laughter felt foreign on my tongue. "Talk to me," she'd urge. I'd whisper fragments, the messages, the plans, tears spilling. How do I leave? Or stand fight? Her hugs were anchors, but the tide pulled strongly. Doubt crept in, too, insidious. Was I enough? Too focused on work? Not spontaneous enough? I pored over old photos, searching for the moment it soured. Our college days, wild, free. When did I become the her to leave? Self-blame festered, a poison I sipped daily. Mark sensed the shift, grew solicitous, flowers just because, foot rubs after dinner. Guilt offerings? Or genuine pullback? "I miss us," he'd say, eyes searching. I'd nod, throat tight, wondering if he missed the lie or the truth. Isolation hit hardest. Family calls, my mom, sensing vibes. "Everything all right, sweetie?" Lies tumbled out, "Fine, busy." I couldn't bear their pity, the unraveling of our perfect image. Alone, I'd curl on the couch, blanket fortress, sobbing into pillows. Why me? Why now? The house, once a sanctuary, turned prison. Every creak a memory, every silence an accusation. But in that drowning, a current shifted. Anger bubbled up, not destructive, but clarifying. Enough tears, enough what-ifs. I started journaling, words spilling like confessions. His betrayals listed, my strengths tallied. I was Elena, the designer who built empires from sketches, the woman who'd hiked volcanoes and nursed him through flus. I deserved more than shadows. One night, staring at the ceiling as thunder rumbled, the echo of that Tuesday, I felt it. The spark. Revenge? Not petty spite. Justice. Unseen, elegant, the kind that exposes without destroying. I'd play his game, but better. Gather proof. Weave a net. Make him confront the man in the mirror.
The plan formed in whispers, a blueprint in the dark. From ashes, I'd rise. But first, the forge needed heat. The planning was where the real fire started. They say revenge is a dish best served cold, but for me, it started warm, a flicker in the gut, growing to a blaze I could control. After weeks of drowning, that spark from the dark became my compass. I wouldn't scream or shatter plates. No, my justice would be surgical, unseen until it struck. A plan born of pain, tempered by smarts. And oh, it felt good to finally breathe fire instead of tears. First, I armored up. Discreetly, of course. I backed up everything. Screenshots of messages, email prints, that damning voice note onto a hidden cloud drive. Password? My grandmother's birthday. Ironclad. No rash moves. I needed irrefutable truth. Lisa became my co-conspirator, sworn to secrecy over late-night calls. You're a boss, Elena. Channel that designer eye. Make it art. Art, yes. My revenge would be a masterpiece. Step 1, Intel. I posed as a curious wife on anonymous forums, learning tricks from others burned. Trackers, too risky. Instead, I mirrored his routine. Not stalking, observation. Noted his errands, cross-referenced with Sarah's LinkedIn posts. Vague networking shots that matched his alibis. Patterns emerged. Fridays at that cafe, lunch meetings veering to hotels. I even drove by once, heart pounding, spotting his car in a lot. Them? Inside, laughing. I didn't linger. Knowledge was power, not pain. Step 2, fortify myself. I ramped up my business, landed a big contract for a women's empowerment campaign. Irony? Sweet. Mornings became mine. Yoga at dawn, stretching out the knots of doubt. Breathe in strength, the instructor cooed. I did. Even evenings I'd cook solo, spicy curries that mirrored my inner heat, while he worked late. Taste this, I'd say innocently, watching him squirm under normalcy. The emotional pivot was hardest. Acting the devoted wife while plotting? Oscar-worthy. I'd laugh at his jokes, plan us weekends that he half committed to, all while mentally mapping my endgame. Doubt-nipped. What if he denies it? What if she fights back? Lisa's pep talk steadied me. You're not destroying, you're freeing yourself. Justice, not vengeance. The core of the plan crystallized one sleepless night. Exposure on his terms. Not public humiliation, no messy divorces splashed online. Personal. Make him see the wreckage up close. Force confession without a word from me. I'd compile it all, a digital dossier, and drop it at the perfect moment. His office party, 6 weeks out. Crowded, professional, inescapable. Invite Sarah subtly, let the truth unravel in real time. Details sharpened, printouts in a sleek folder disguised as a surprise gift. A USB with audio visuals. My speech? Minimal. Just the evidence. His face, her shock. Then walk away, head high. No yelling. Let silence condemn. I practiced in the mirror, voice steady. See for yourself. Empowerment surged. I was no victim. I was the architect. As the weeks ticked by, tension hummed. He'd sense it, ask, "You seem different, happier." I'd smile mysteriously. Just focusing me. True. The flame burned brighter, consuming fear. Betrayal had broken me open. Now I'd rebuild sharper. But plans are fragile. Life throws curveballs. And as the party loomed, one twist nearly doused my fire. What was it? Oh, you'll see. You'll see. The build to climax was electric. Planning revenge is like designing a labyrinth. Every turn deliberate, every shadow a lure. Mine unfolded in stolen moments, a secret symphony I conducted alone. With the office party as my stage, I wove threads tight, ensuring no escape. But weaving requires patience, and mine was tested as the days blurred into a tense prelude. I started small, testing the waters. "Hey, Mark, your big work bash is coming up. Excited?" I'd ask over breakfast, casual as coffee. He'd perk up, ego stroked. "Yeah, it's the annual gala. Whole team's going. Sarah's heading promo, actually." Sarah. Her name dropped like bait. I bit back revulsion, smiled. "Sounds fun. Mind if I tag along? Be your arm candy?" He hesitated, a microsecond, but nodded. "Sure, Beb. It'll be great." Great.
If only he knew. Next, the bait for her. Anonymous email from a burner account. Heard about the gala. Mark mentioned you'd love to collab on a project. Swing by? Vague. Professional. She bit. RSVP confirmed via his shared calendar. Perfect. Now, the dossier. Nights at my desk, I curated. Timeline of lies, side-by-side calendars showing overlaps, transcripts of sweet nothings. No rage-filled notes, just facts. Cold and cutting. Bound in leather, classy, like a portfolio. Inside, a single line from me. Truth sets us free. Or traps us. Your choice. Self-preservation ramped up. I met with a lawyer friend, a quiet consultation on assets, prenup clauses. Protect yourself, she advised. But if it's emotional closure you want, it was, and more. I journaled affirmations. I am whole. I am just. Yoga evolved to run, pounding pavement, shedding his weight. Lisa hosted war council dinners, wine, strategy, laughter to lighten the load. You're a ninja, E, silent but deadly. Deadly? No. Devastating. Twists came, of course. A week out, he announced a surprise trip, a weekend getaway, just us. Guilt trip? Reconciliation ploy? My gut screamed trap. Sounds amazing, I lied, already rescheduling. Then Sarah's post. Gala glam. Who's ready? With a photo, gold hoops glinting. His gift. Rage flared, but I channeled it. Added the pic to the file. Evidence. The night before the party, doubt assaulted. Mirror gazing, dressed in my power red, fitted dress, heels like weapons. I whispered, "Can I do this?" Tears threatened, but resolve held. This wasn't hate. It was reclamation. I'd hand him the folder mid-toast, watch the web close. He exposed her disillusionment, freeing me. Morning of, butterflies rioted. He kissed my cheek, routine, and left for prep. I lingered, touching our wedding photo. Goodbye, illusion. Hello, truth. The drive to the venue was surreal. City lights blurring, heart a drum. Valet, entrance, chandeliers, suits, chatter. Mark spotted me, beaming. You look stunning. I did. Sarah hovered nearby, blonde perfection, oblivious. Timing. Cocktails first. Mingle. Smile. Then his speech. Promo awards. As he took the mic, pride swelling, I slipped the folder to a waiter for Mr. Thompson after his talk. Heart thundering, I watched. The web tightened. Climax loomed, electric. But what happened next? It wasn't just exposure. It was a reckoning that shook us all. Spotlights and small talk, the gala swirled like a dream turned feverish. Crystal glasses clinked, laughter echoed off gilded walls, but I moved through it all on autopilot, a ghost in red silk. Mark was in his element, schmoozing execs, arm occasionally brushing mine in feigned affection. Sarah flitted nearby, her laugh a trill that grated like nails on glass. I nodded through hellos, sipped champagne that tasted of ash, and counted breaths till 0 hour. The web was spun. Now the pull. His speech came at 8 sharp. Up on stage, mic in hand, he glowed. Tailored suit, easy charm. Team, you've made this year unforgettable, he boomed, eyes scanning the crowd, landing on me with a wink. Unforgettable. Irony burned. Applause rippled as he rapped, descending to cheers. That's when the waiter approached, folder in silver tray. Compliments of your wife, sir. Mark's brow furrowed, curious smile. But he took it, flipping open as colleagues clapped his back. Time slowed. I stood apart, glass steady, watching the unravel. His face, confusion first, then dawning horror. Pages turned, timeline, messages, that voice note playing softly from the USB he'd plugged in, curiosity. When are you leaving her? Her voice, tinny in the hush. Gasps rippled. Sarah, drawn by the murmur, edged closer. Mark, what's... She peered, color draining. Gold hoops caught light as recognition hit. He stammered, folder trembling. Lena, this... It's not. But eyes betrayed him, Panic, guilt, the mask cracking. The room shifted, whispers to stares, execs exchanging glances. No yelling from me, just presence, calm, unyielding. Justice and silence. He pocketed the USB hastily, face ashen, but damage bloomed. Sarah backed away early, coat clutched, shooting me a look, part fury, part pity. Pity for her? No. For him, unraveling in real time. I approached them, slow, deliberate. Enjoy the night. Mark. Voice even, no venom. His plea. Babe, wait, we talk, please. But I walked. Heels clicking exitward. Air cooler outside. Freedom's first breath. In the car, tears came, not sorrow, release. The strike landed true, not destruction, but illumination. His world, once shadowed by lies, is now harshly lit. Back home, he arrived late, reeking of scotch, eyes red. Elena, it was a mistake. She's nothing. Nothing, as if I were. I sat composed, suitcase by the door, packed quietly that week. See the truth now? Folder on the table, open to his lies. He collapsed, head in hands. I'm sorry, so sorry. Sobs, real this time. Confession spilled. 6 months, thrill chase, regret dawning late. No violence, just a broken man, facing a mirror. I listened, heart steady. You chose shadows, I choose light. No screams, just keys tossed, door quicked shut behind me. Justice served, he exposed to himself, her illusion shattered, me unbound. The climax wasn't an explosion, it was quiet thunder, echoing change. Sunrise, after a tempest, feels foreign at first, too bright, too still. That's how my first days alone hit, raw, disorienting, but laced with a fragile peace. I crashed at Lisa's, guest room haven, piled with blankets and bad rom-coms. You're free, warrior, she'd say, pouring key. Free. The words settled slowly, like dust after a quake. Mark's calls flooded, voicemails thick with pleas. Come home, E, we fix this. Home? That house of ghosts? No. I filed papers swiftly, the lawyer's hand guiding. Assets split fair. He fought little, guilt his chain. Sarah vanished. LinkedIn updated, new city, new job. Her web tangled too. Healing wasn't linear. Nights, grief and boche, curling fetal, missing his laugh despite all. But mornings brought clarity. Runs in new parks, coffee solo but strong. My business boomed, designs bolder, clients raving. There's fire in your work, one said. Fire. Yes, refined now. Friends rallied, dinners, hikes, stories swapped. Mom visited, hugs healing. Proud of you, kiddo, strong like your grandma. Strength echoed. I dated the idea of me, journals filled with dreams, solo Italy trip, puppy adoption, golden retriever, no frills, therapy unpacked layers, betrayal's scar, but not your story. Mark, we met once, neutral cafe. Hollow keeks, eyes haunted. I lost everything, he admitted. No sympathy, just nod. You lost us. Find yourself. He nodded, broken but budding growth. Justice's gift, not just my freedom, his mirror. Months blurred to seasons. New apartment, mine, airy, art walls bursting with color. Dates trickled, kind men, no rush. Life bloomed, puppy named Soul, tail wags greeting dawn. Scars faded to stories, told at parties, laughter mine. The storm passed. I emerged, not unscathed, but unbreakable. Revenge? It closed the book. Now new chapters are called. Looking back, that rainy Tuesday feels like a lifetime ago. A pivot point where pain birthed power. Betrayal stripped me bare, but in the naked truth I found my core, resilient, worthy, whole. Mark's slip wasn't just his downfall, it was
It was my launch. And the moral?
That's the quiet thunder that lingers. Trust isn't blind, it's a garden, needing tending. I ignored weeds too long, let shadows grow unchecked. Lesson 1, listen to whispers before they howl. Your gut knows. Honor it. Don't wait for the dam to break. Revenge? Mine was justice reimagined, not poison, but light piercing dark. It was exposed without hate, freed without chains. We chase payback for closure, but true power, self-reclamation. I didn't destroy him. I released us both. He to his regrets, me to horizons wide. For anyone drowning in deceit, you're not broken, you're brewing. Gather proof, build quietly, strike with grace, then walk. Shadows fear the dawn you become. Life now, vibrant. Soul chases balls in sun-dappled yards. Italy awaits, sketchbook in tow. Laughter comes easy, love on my terms. Betrayal taught, you're the author. Rewrite boldly. If this resonates, know you're not alone. Share your story. Let's light more paths. Until next time, hold your fire close. It warms worlds.